Hello, Cloud Dwellers. As part of our ongoing Marketing Cloud CERT review, we're back today to explore another question that has to do with content creation. This time, we're exploring what content blocks are and how they're used within Marketing Cloud. Let's check it out. This week's question is asking, what's the purpose of a content block? Now, in order to answer these questions, we probably have to understand what a content block is and how we use it within Marketing Cloud. So let's check that out. Whenever we create any kind of content within Marketing Cloud, we're creating components, we're creating elements that can be snapped together, almost like Lego bricks. And in this case, when we build an email, we may have something that says, here's a graphic that goes to the top of our email. Here is an interactive element of some sort. Here's a dynamic content block. Here's a text block that we want to be able to reuse. And the fundamental understanding, and by the way, if we go up here to the upper right-hand corner into the create when we're creating any new content, there's a whole menu of different types of content blocks that can be created. Now, the one advantage of content blocks across the board is that they're the kind of thing we can create one time and then save into our library and use over and over and over again. So if you have a number of emails that go out the door on a regular basis and you want to make sure that you have consistency, well, instead of having to reinvent that component over and over and over, you just save it into a library, and then it's just a matter of being able to take that brick, that block, if you will, and put it into your email whenever you need it. So that is the nature of working with content blocks. Now that explored, let's go back and look at our answers. Now, the first answer is saying we could use content blocks to track engagement metrics. No, we can't. Engagement metrics have a lot to do with how people interact with our content after we send emails or SMS text messages out to them. And it has nothing to do with content blocks in this context. So guess what? No, and that is not a good answer. So we're going to say no, not to track engagement metrics. Let's look at answer B, which says to schedule automations. Well, again, content is about content. It's about the content we share with other people. It has nothing to do with how we got here. And automations is really a tool that allows us to create, if you will, a framework or kind of an automation structure of do this, do this, do this, do this. It has nothing to do with content blocks. So guess what? That's also not a good answer. Answer C is saying to store reusable elements like headers or buttons. Well, that sounds very similar to what we were just talking about, the idea of creating something once and then saving it into a library so you can use it over and over and over again. So let's hold on to that answer. And then for D, it says to manage data extension imports. Well, guess what? Content is about creating materials that we share with other people. It has nothing to do with data management. So D is not going to be a good answer either. And that brings us back to C as being our answer for this question, which is to store reusable elements like headers or buttons. To explore other questions and answers surrounding Marketing Cloud certification and mastery, please subscribe to this channel and we'll drop a new question for you to check out every week. Also, this question was taken directly from our new and free certification quiz featuring 125 practice questions covering the Email Specialist certification exam. If this sounds like something you could use, simply go to blueclouduniversity.com and click on the CERT Prep tab to get started. Thanks for dropping by. I'll see you again next time.